So the Jews were also told that this is haram, don't do it, don't partake in it. But they are actually infamous in human history as the moneylenders of humanity. The ones who have always lent money, they're the ones who founded the banking systems of the world. They're the ones who lead and run the banking systems of the world. And they're the ones who have, despite the fact that they were Bani Israel, the children of Jacob alayhi salam, they have partaken and actually taken this to all new levels and are always thinking of new better ways to take money from people without doing any work on their own.
Two deep roots in this country that continues to be with us and have not been yet addressed is the genocide of the indigenous Native Americans and the enslavement of the blacks that were brought from Africa. And it's interesting when we speak about Palestine, when the Zionists came to Palestine, they actually referenced the genocide of the Native Americans as a model. Not only that, Hitler during the Second World War also referenced the United States in the relations to the genocide of the indigenous people as a model. So the attempt today to erase history, to go to museum and remove the historical references, to literally burn books as a way of not confronting history is a process that we're seeing it in front of us in real time.
So where does this come from, this idea that Jews are moneylenders? It comes down to a fundamental quality of the Torah. Remember, the Jews follow the Torah, not the New Testament and not the Quran. So it's written in Deuteronomy 23 and 21, to the stranger shalt you give interest, but not to your brother. To your brother shall you not give interest. To a non-Israelite, the Jew must lend with interest. Now remember, this whole idea that even that it's bad to charge interest came from the Bible itself. It's very interesting to me that they constantly use this as an example to attack the Jews, that they're moneylenders, when oftentimes money lending was the only opportunity available to the Jews, that other professions was forbidden. Most of these countries, Jews couldn't own land, they couldn't work, they only had the opportunity of being financial traders. So it is true that the Zionist writers reference the Native Americans when speaking about coming to Palestine, being the land Palestine, in order to settle and develop a country there, which was neglected by all the different empires that had ruled the land at one time or another. But it was the Jews referred to themselves as Native Americans. Theodore Herzl wrote that Jews risked being destroyed like primitive peoples if they didn't secure a homeland. In Herzl's novel At Nulin, 1902, the Zionist utopia is described with the language of colonization. While Herzl doesn't directly reference Native Americans there, in his journals and his speeches, he sometimes alludes to European Native American relations as a cautionary backdrop. Other early Zionist writers, such as Max Nordau, that was the Muscular Judaism, and Israel Zangwill, invoked comparisons between Jews and vanishing indigenous peoples, including Native Americans, as part of the argument for urgent Jewish national revival. So yes, it is true that Zionists reference Native Americans, but they were the Native Americans, not the reverse. Remember, Arabs have 22 plus countries. Muslims have 50 plus countries. Muslims and Arabs control huge amounts of the world, and so-called Palestinians are simply Muslim Arabs. They are not the indigenous people of the land. The Jews are the unique, special, and indigenous people that are at risk of being wiped out at any time.
Does anybody know why Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam kicked out the Yahud from Medina, namely Banu Qaynuqa, by their inception? Read history, my friends. Understand what our legacy is.
So he's explaining away a genocide and ethnic cleansing, and he's admitting to it, that their prophet, Muhammad, genocided and ethnically cleansed the Jews from their own city. Medina is not an Arabic word. It's a Hebrew word. Medina can mean state or city. State of Israel is called Medinat Israel. So he's admitting to it.
Of course, the Yahud, they detested this, that a woman dressing like the Muslims is present in their society. And they were in their
This is like totally make up and fake. Completely fake.
carnal desires evil to get a glance at this woman. So they devised, they deliberated, they plotted. So what they do is they take the bottom portion of her clothing and they tie it with her khimar, with her hijab. So when she gets up, what happens? Her bottom is revealed. How similar is today to yesterday, where you see hundreds and thousands of children and women, innocent men, falling, being starved to death. Yet some Muslims, alleged Muslims, say, whatever, we need to build political situations with these Zionists. We need to have political stability. Ya Rabb, have we stooped so?
Look at this, right? He's right here in America. Right here in America. Look on his talus. You see the entire state of Israel on his right side. And you have the shrine that was built over where Solomon's temple was on his left side. And they claim it all for Islam. And this is what we're talking about right here in America. So we got to understand that when Muslims come here, if they look like they do back in their country, then that means they believe like in their country. Just find a country where people dress like this guy that's democratic. That doesn't exist. Find a country where people dress like this, where the women's have full rights. It doesn't exist. Just find a country where the people dress like this man, where there's not female genital mutilation. It doesn't exist. Just find me a country where people dress like this man, where religious minorities are respected. Jews, Christians, Zoroastrians, whatever. It doesn't exist. So when somebody dresses a certain way, it's saying, this is what I believe. So you got to understand, just because they get on a plane and fly from one place to another, they take an oath, they're now a citizen, or maybe they're even born in this country, it doesn't mean they respect our values. So we got 3 videos here of people who basically they hate America. They hate America. In the first case, he was saying how terrible it is, our banking system with lends with interest. But you got to understand, interest is how money is made. The way our financial system is set up, it's not an accident that financial growth in the West is so much greater in Muslim countries. The Muslim countries, if it's not for oil, they don't have any money. There's a reason why. The way that economic growth happens is that somebody has a business idea. They're able to build up good credit. They're able to take out a loan. And that is when the money's created. When that loan is given out from the bank to that person, that is the second the money's created. And then a person takes that money and hopefully they're able to use it well to multiply that money. That's how wealth is generated. It's their effort. The money is just a valuation that this is how much this person's potentially worth, how much their idea is potentially worth. Then that person takes that money, they invest it, and they're able hopefully to grow it and build upon it. That's every company in America. And back in their country, they don't do this. So there's no economic growth because they never can get the resources to do their idea because there's no interest. But yet they say interest is so evil, even though they're living here in America with all the benefits of our banking system and interest, they still say, oh, it's so evil, it's so wicked, right? Then the second guy, but if you just follow the Muslim history, the Muslims wiped out all the Jews of Arabia. The Muslims wiped out countless peoples, right, in history. But yet they want to talk about wiping out the Native Americans. What about the Assyrians? What about the Babylonians? What about the Zoroastrians? What about all the native peoples that they wiped out that barely exist anymore? The Chaldeans. These were millions and millions of people that when the Muslims came, they basically wiped them out and they either forced them to convert or they killed them. Either convert or be killed. That was a choice for most people when the Muslims came. So they want to, what a hypocritical thing. And they hate this country. They want to say, wow, you enslave black people? Do you know the Arab slave trade was the largest slave trade in the world, much larger than the slave trade of black people to America, to the West Indies, to Brazil, and so on and so forth, much larger. And it goes on today. You can even buy slaves today in places like Sudan. To this day, you can buy slaves. You can find videos of this online. This last gentleman creates this whole fake story about justifying genocide and ethnic cleansing of Jews from their own land, because remember, the Jews were there before the Muslims came. So these are all American Muslims speaking in English, spewing the same hate that they have back in their countries. So when you see a Muslim, you have to understand, if they're dressed like they're in their countries, they have the same opinions, more likely than not, as their countries. And for anybody who says, oh, they don't all think like that, they don't all think the same, my response to you is, where are the Muslims marching against this? Where are the Muslims marching saying that it's wrong what's happening with these people spreading hate against the Jews? Where are they? If it's true that all Muslims don't agree with this, where are the ones banding together against this hate? And I'll believe it when I see it. I'm not against Muslims, by the way. I'm not against anyone. I just want to be safe. I want my family to be safe. I'm a Jew, and I want everybody to be safe. And I'm not against anyone. But when you see people spewing this kind of hate right here in America, one in Chicago, one here, one in Peoria, Illinois, this is not far from me. We have to be on guard against these things. Anyway, peace and love. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe and click on one of the videos above for more.